Chapter 537 to 538, The Long Wait. Zhu Zheng came to the office and saw Qin Shi, the Yanyan guard, who was wearing bandages and breathing weakly. Qin Shi, what did you see in Linhai this time? Tell me everything. Zhu Zheng asked Qin Shi to sit down and report the news to him. The situation was urgent, and he had no time to comfort him. Qin Shi swallowed his saliva and told him the results of his investigation in Linhai. The matter was roughly what Tu Yunlai said, but it was more detailed. But what is certain is that the culprit who killed many strange people in Linhai City spoke Neon. Zhu Zheng frowned and asked calmly, "How many people are there?" Qin Shi replied, "We only saw 3. And from beginning to end, there was only one person who used a knife. His knife was very fast, and he cut off Xue Ting's arm with one knife."
Qin Shi's
face was a little gloomy. He thought of his comrades and felt sad. As soon as we fought, we felt that we were not at the same level as the other party. So the 3 of them tried their best to hold the other party back, creating an opportunity for me to come back and report. Fortunately, our transportation is better than theirs, so I was able to save my life. Qin Shi suddenly clenched his fists and said to Zhu Zheng loudly, "Commander-in-Chief, you must kill all these bastards and avenge our dead comrades." Zhu Zheng folded his hands to support his chin, and there was no change in his expression. He just said to Qin Shi calmly, "Don't worry, we will never sit idly by and watch this matter. These Japanese dared to come to our country's land and run wild. Their ending is only one word: death." Zhu Zheng said it decisively, as if the god of death had sentenced those people's fate. He looked at Qin Shi, and his voice became gentler. "You go back and heal your wounds first, and leave the rest to the region." Qin Shi nodded obediently, then limped out of Zhu Zheng's office with a cane and a nurse. Tu Yunlia's eyes were fixed on Zhu Zheng, waiting for Zhu Zheng's order, and he would lead people over to kill all the Japanese in Linhai City. But Zhu Zheng has his own thoughts. The identities of these Japanese people must be confirmed. First of all, what needs to be done is to inform Xinjiang District and then contact the top leaders of Japan. There are only 2 possible results. First, if the top leaders of Japan admit that these are their people, it means that a full-scale war is about to begin. This possibility is the lowest because with Japan's national strength, it is impossible to compete with China. Not to mention that they don't know how to live or die and come to invade China's territory. The most likely one is the second one, that the top leaders of Japan do not admit that those people have any relationship with them. That's right, whether they are organizations that invade in the name of individuals or aliens ordered by the top leaders of Japan, it doesn't matter. As long as the top leaders of Japan do not admit it, it means that the top leaders of Japan will not turn against China for them. In this case, it is not excessive for Jiangnan District to deal with those people. A mere team of Japanese aliens dares to run wild on my Chinese land. It's really looking for death. Zhu Zheng snorted coldly, then took out the communicator and began to contact the top leaders of Xinjiang District. After all, it involves Neon, which is equivalent to foreign affairs. According to convention, Xinjiang still has to communicate. Zhu Zheng was delayed by the matter of Linhai City, so naturally he could not preside over the meeting. So here in Tianchong Hall, everyone waited from morning to noon and gradually began to get impatient. Although they respected the strength of the Jiangnan district, they were still a powerful force after all, and they must be unhappy to be left out like this. In addition, Zhu Zheng needed to discuss that matter with the senior officials of Blizzard City, so there were no higher-level figures in the venue. Fortunately, the captains of the 2 investigation teams brought people to maintain order at the scene with the Yanyan troops so that the venue did not get chaotic. However, the irritability in the hearts of the aliens of the major forces in the 12 cities was difficult to contain. At noon, Blizzard City provided them with lunch. But because Zhu Zheng didn't know where he would come, he asked them not to leave the venue and eat box lunches. Zhang Yi and others were relatively better. After all, there was a lot of food in Zhang Yi's space, and the problem of eating was easy to solve. Others were eating the simple box lunches provided by the Blizzard City cafeteria. They were enjoying a feast of fish and meat, and the food was steaming hot and fragrant, making the surrounding alien forces jealous. If there was anything that made Zhang Yi uncomfortable here, it was because the sofa seats in the venue were too hard. After sitting for a long time, his butt would inevitably hurt. After 1 o'clock in the afternoon, no one saw Zhu Zheng and other high-level officials from Blizzard City coming. Xiao Honglian couldn't help but complain. Are they making fun of us? They are deliberately ignoring us. How can this be justified? Although Zhang Yi was a little impatient, he did not show any resentment. He just said lightly, the bigger the fist, the better. Xiao Honglian's face flushed a little. But they are too. Zhang Yi waved his hand, signaling her not to.
Continue to talk.
No matter how much you say, it's useless. The situation is stronger than people. There are dozens of alien organizations in 12 cities. We should not be the first to come out. Someone will not be able to hold back and show up. Xiao Honglian looked around after hearing this. Sure enough, there were whispers in the meeting room. When listening carefully, you can find that everyone is beginning to feel resentful about the actions of the Jiangnan district this time. Some people are even hot-tempered and say unpleasant things. Xiao Honglian frowned, but we are waiting here all the time? Zhang Yi smiled. Just think of it as a meeting now. Anyway, even if it is a serious meeting for you, you won't listen to a few words. Zhang Yi is very open-minded. Small meetings are held for important matters, and large meetings are held for unimportant matters. In fact, Zhu Zheng asked them to come this time just to inform them of the decision of Blizzard City, not to discuss anything with them. Therefore, the content of the meeting will not make much difference whether they listen or not. Anyway, they don't need their opinions. At this time, Zhang Yi looked at the door of the meeting room and suddenly saw a familiar figure. It was Bailey Chongqing, the captain of the Black Robe team. His sturdy figure was very easy to recognize. He just stood at the door, observing the situation inside the venue with sharp eyes. Zhang Yi thought, Blizzard City dared to let so many aliens in, so it had enough confidence to suppress them. It seemed that there were powerful troops outside, who were ready. Once any problem occurred here, they would suppress it without hesitation. It was boring to stay in the venue. It was noisy, and there were too many people, and the air became turbid. Zhang Yi suddenly stood up and said to the others, I'm going out for a walk. After that, he walked to the aisle alone. Zhou Ke hurriedly said, I'll go too. Zhang Yi waved his hand to stop her and others who wanted to go out with him. I'm going to talk to Bailey Chongqing. You stay here and don't move around. There are many people here, and it's better not to move around casually, so as not to inadvertently conflict with someone. After listening to Zhang Yi's words, Zhou Ke sat down obediently. Liang Yu, Uncle Yu, and Fatty Su were sitting on the periphery, so that if anything really happened, they would be able to protect them immediately. With every new chapter, it becomes more crazy. If you are eager to know more, then subscribe quickly, if not already, and comment to cheer me up. Thanks, my dear viewers.